Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Hoob with Hoob's Garage. Now, on this week's tool review, we're going to be not so much of a tool review, but just going over some tools that I think if you're wanting to get into working on your own vehicle, start doing a little bit of maintenance and stuff yourself, kind of like what we do here. This isn't a professional shop, but not professional to hell. I don't even know what I'm doing on half this stuff. I'm just trying to learn. And so if you're just trying to learn too and you want to get into it as cheap as you can, I've tried to narrow stuff down to what the absolute basics would be that you'd have to work on your own car safely. And so that's what we're doing on this episode of Hoob's Garage. So we're going to tear into it here. And on the second part of the video, I'm going to add a couple things that I think ain't necessary, but might not hurt if you're going to work on your own car. Now just remember, this is all my opinion. My opinion's usually wrong, but I just like to see people working on their own cars. I think it's cool, and I think the less we can depend on other people, the better off we are. And it seems like less and less people in the world these days can do stuff for themselves. And I don't mean to get political, but I think that's the way the government wants it, because when it comes down to the point where we depend on somebody else for everything, and then when we depend on the government for everything, the government can tell us what to do. And yeah, we don't need that. Okay, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, we're going to tear into it here now. Okay, so if you're going to try to work on your own car, there's really no way around it. You're going to have a floor jack and some jack stands. You got to do it the safe way. And if you watch, a lot of times, I think Craftsman usually has like a bundle where you can get a floor jack and a couple jack stands for about $150. And you can watch the sales at Harbour Freight, and you can get pretty good deals there too. You'll never get the Daytona jack and everything for that cheap, but if you watch, you'll get the Pittsburg jack. So, be sure to watch YouTube videos. You want to watch like where the proper jacking points are on your car. That way you keep yourself safe and you don't tear up the car, and never ever try to work on the car without using jack stands. So there's really no way around it. If you're going to work on your own car, you're going to have that to start with. So now let's get on to the tools. If you're going to start working on your own car, I'm sure you're going to be changing your own oil. So you're just going to have to, this will be more vehicle specific here. You're just going to have to figure out what kind of wrench or even those little sockets that go on the bottom of your oil filter is going to work best for the car that you have. You can get these pretty cheap. They don't have to be Craftsman. You can get them from any parts store. Everybody makes one. So just get you something that fits the oil filter on the car you're going to be working on. So this video is not promoting any certain brand or any certain set or anything like that. I have all these sets because, like I've mentioned in other videos, Hoob's Garage used to be a bunch of different garages. So I always had one of these little tool sets in each garage and stuff like that. But now everything's moved in here, so that's why I ended up with all these random sets. But when you go out to get your first tool set, the very first thing I'd look for is one that comes with a nice selection of sockets. And I wouldn't even worry if it's got 1/2 inch, and then we'll get to that here in just a second. Try to get one that comes with a nice mix of standard and deep. My personal recommendation would be this gear wrench right here, the 106-piece set. Comes with just a nice mix of standard and shallow sockets, metric and standard. Doesn't have a 1/2 inch. It's only a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch. Same way with this DeWalt set right here. Now, usually when you find one that does come with 1/2 inch, it doesn't come with much. Like this old Craftsman over here, it does have a 1/2 inch ratchet, which the ratchet will still come in handy. But it doesn't have a very nice mix of sockets. You only got 10 different deep sockets right there. And the reason I say don't worry about if it has 1/2 inch or not, because you can go to Harbour Freight. You can pick you up these for about 20 bucks a piece, so that's only 40 bucks. And there's you a set of 1/2 inch deep sockets. And if you're working on a passenger car, really all you're going to need 1/2 inch for is just taking lug nuts on and off. The rest of it's pretty much going to be 3/8 and a 1/4 anyways. So we'll just save that, put the rest of our money towards stuff that we're actually probably going to use. So just remember, look for a nice set of sockets, one that covers all sizes and everything. And that's going to be your big focus when you're buying your first, socket set, because that's going to be the heart of your operation right there. Another problem is when you buy one of these little sets like this, it comes with wrenches. I wouldn't even worry if it's got wrenches, because whenever you get one of these little briefcase sets, it seems like like this one comes with a pretty nice set of sockets, but you can see it only has 5 standard and 5 metric wrenches, so it skips a lot of sizes. You really don't get a good selection of wrenches in these little briefcase sets. If you can find one that does, that's cool. But I would worry more about getting a set that comes with things like Allen keys and a nut driver. And if you can find it, I know Gear Wrench and DeWalt. What else is there's a Stanley set that come with these little things. I'd go after that more than I would a set of wrenches, and I'll explain why here in just a minute. You're going to get a lot more use out of them than you are that crappy selection of wrenches right there. And another thing you want to pick up is try to get some of these adapters. You can get them in all different sizes. You can get 1/2 inch to 3/8, 3/8 to 1/2 inch, 3/8 to 1/4. And what that'll do is if you do have a 1/2 inch ratchet, or you can run out and buy a 1/2 inch ratchet, that's going to let you use the sockets that you have. I know that's not ideal, but we're trying to save money here. We're trying to do this as cheap as possible. So if you have a set of these adapters, you can use your sockets on whatever size ratchet you want to. You're going to pick that up for about $20, this set of those. Now, one 1/2 inch thing that I do recommend you get is you're going to want to go out and grab a breaker bar. This is a kobalt. You can get whatever you want. You can go to Harbour Freight and get the Pittsburg. It's about $25. It's a real nice one. And with your little adapter that you got there, you can use all your 3/8 sockets that you already have. So there, we're already saving money because we didn't have to buy a bunch of 1/2 inch sockets. The reason I say buy a breaker bar is because if you try to use a regular 1/2 inch ratchet, if you're lucky enough to get a set that does come with it, you're never going to be able to get lug nuts and stuff loose with that. I mean, you might be able to, but it's going to be rough. You're going to have a cheater bar. It's just going to be really aggravating. You'll have a lot better luck using the breaker bar on that. And like even the bracket bolts on your brake calipers, you're going to have a real hard time busting them loose too with that little ratchet. So that's why I definitely recommend you pick up a breaker bar. But like I said, go to Harbour Freight, get the cheap one, get the $25 one. And while you're there, you can pick up these sockets there if you want to. So that pretty much covers your socket set. Like I said, try to get the best mix you can because that's going to be the heart of your operations. And now I'm going to move on to the wrenches. And this is why I said not to worry about whether or not your set comes with wrenches. Because when you go buy a set of wrenches, I will recommend these. These are Craftsman. You can pick these up at Lowe's. I think they're in a gray package now. They're called Overdrive or something like that. When you buy wrenches like this compared to the ones that come in the little all-in-one sets, you get a lot more wrenches and it doesn't skip as many sizes. Unfortunately, these still skip sizes too. But there, that'll give you a nice set of wrenches. It'll work well with the big socket set that you got. And then you got your breaker bar, so you pretty much got all sizes covered. Like I said, try to find one of those little sets that's got one of these too, because that's really going to come in handy. You'll really appreciate that once you have it. So that pretty much covers the sockets. You want to get your wrenches and your breaker bar, and then you'll have a nice selection of sockets, and you're ready to start doing a lot of your own work then. So now we're going to move on to a couple little more odds and ends you need to have in the toolbox. One other nice option for your wrenches is these old Craftsman raise panel. You can get this whole set for about $80. They're not the best, but they're good for, if you're just starting out trying to build your collection. You can get all that up there. That'll work out pretty good for your garage, especially if you're just starting out there. Okay, you're definitely going to want to have you some wire strippers in case you're trying to, make any repairs on any shorts or anything you have or any bare spots in your wires that you're trying to fix. And keeping with the pliers, you're just going to want a nice mix of pliers. Get you a couple channel locks, for doing channel lock things. You want some of these pliers for doing these kind of plier things. You got you some snippers for doing snipper type things. And of course we all need a set of needle nose pliers. We're going to need that. I think most places sell like a set of all four. Like this right here, this setup right here. I know Husky's got a pretty nice set. I'll try to put a screenshot in here if I find that. So that covers your pliers. You're going to want to pick up one of these little utility knives. They're cheap. You can get them about anywhere. You're also going to want a decent set of screwdrivers. Now you can pick up like this Craftsman set right here. I think I got this for like 16 bucks from Lowe's. It wasn't very much at all. You got a nice range of all different sizes, all different lengths and everything. Your little socket set that you get, more than likely it's going to come with one of these. And that's okay, because it comes with bits and everything. But sooner or later, you're going to run into, probably sooner more than later, you're going to run into somewhere where that's too big to fit. And having all these different length screwdrivers, that's where that's going to come in nice. And you're going to want to get you a set of picks. Now, most of these screwdriver sets will come with a set of picks. This came out of a Kobalt set I bought a long time ago. I'll try to put a picture of it somewhere here in the frame right now. Yeah, try to get you the screwdriver set that comes with the picks. That's going to give you the most bang for your buck there. And you're also going to want to get just a cheap set of pry bars. Now you can pick, I know Harbour Freight has a set of these for like 15 bucks. Even these Kobalt ones, they weren't very much. You could probably pick them up for a little bit of nothing. Don't be trying to take the screwdriver and prying around on things with it. You're going to end up breaking the screwdriver, or even worse, you're going to break something off of it. It's going to fly up and hit you in the eye. You're going to have all kind of problems. And you're not going to be able to watch Hoop's Garage anymore. We don't need that happening. It's just kidding. Well, not kidding. Don't want you to get hit in the eye there, but don't worry about Hoop's Garage. Just worry about not getting hit in the eye. I'd recommend going out and buying a big crescent wrench. That way that'll cover what's, like if you run into a big nut or something that your regular wrenches don't go to, and you'll have that ready to rock and roll. And well, I hear a cop car coming. Can you hear that? Hear the siren? Man, they're just screaming down through there too. You better go check this out. Oh man, I hear cops. What's going on? Something's going down up the road. Okay, might have to drive up the road and see what that was all about. But then you're going to want to get you a couple hammers. These are the cool ones. These are the old school, made in USA Craftsman. Wish you could still get that stuff. This one's got red tractor paint all over it. And those were the good old days there. I wish you could still get stuff like that. And then if your set didn't come with it, you're going to need to run out and get you a set of those Allen keys, or hopefully the socket set you bought came with these, which these can be gotten pretty cheap at Harbour Freight and stuff like that. When you got these on a socket instead of having to use that little Allen key, you're going to really appreciate these real fast. I'd say you can get you can get any brand you want. You don't have to stick with this brand. Anything I got here. Just trying to give you an idea of what you're going to need here. And last but not least, you're going to need a torque wrench. Now this is Kobalt. I got the whole set of Kobalts. I got the 3/8, the quarter, and the 1/2 inch. If you don't have one and you're just starting out, I recommend going to Harbour Freight and getting the Pittsburg. It's like 20 bucks, and it works too. My brother has one. We've torqued bolts down with this and then came back and checked it with the Pittsburg, and it's perfectly fine. And one thing I like about it, it's shorter. So if you're in a tight place, it's going to be way easier to use that short one than this long one. Now, I don't really care if this one gets in a tight place, because like I said, I got the 3/8. I'll just use it. It's shorter. But definitely recommend Harbor Freight on that one. Go get the $20 one. That's all you're going to need. And if you're just starting out, I really think you do need a torque wrench, because first of all, you're going to need to torque your lug nuts and stuff back to factory specs after you take your wheels off. And since everybody has a cell phone in their pocket these days, you have access to the torque specs on every bolt in your car. So, if you're just learning, you might not really know what feels too tight or too loose. Some people have been doing it for a long time, not me, but other people, where they can just pretty much tell the torque by the feel, And if you're just starting out, it's going to be real nice. That way you're getting everything as tight as it should be, or not too tight. But don't go out and get this one. This one's almost $100. Go to Harbor Freight, get that one I was telling you about. Get that one for $20. So I think all in for that first little segment of the video, like what you see laying here, you're going to have $20 in your torque wrench, 20 or 30 in your pliers, 20 or 30 in these, 20 in these, 20, probably 30. And then depending on what socket set you get, you may get a socket set for 150. You may get one for, it could really go anywhere. But try to get like a nice $150, $200 set, something around there. And then your wrenches are going to set you back probably $100 to get a nice set of wrenches. So all in for this first section, the basics, just enough to get by. You should be less than $500 in all that, or right there, somewhere right around there. And that's not bad. I know $500 is a lot of money. You might not be able to run out and do it right away, but you can add to it as you go, or watch sales, watch Black Friday sales, stuff like that. So now we're going to get on to the second part of the video, and these are things that are going to bump the price up a little bit, but I think if you can swing it, I think it's really going to help you in the long run. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to mention on the list of things that you really don't need, but it's going to make your life a lot easier if you do have them. If you got the funds, I would grab you a set of ratcheting wrenches. Or unless you get like that gear wrench set that I listed earlier in the video that comes with the ratcheting wrenches, that'd be okay. Now, I picked these up at Harbor Freight. Everybody laughs at the colored ones. I don't know. I like the random colors. That's why I don't really like sticking with one brand. I like a toolbox full of just a bunch of different colors. That's just how I am. And they're not bad. They're the Pittsburg Pro. That's one thing. When you do go to Harbor Freight, if you can swing it, try to get anything that's Pittsburg Pro instead of just Pittsburg. It's only like $5 more. I feel like it's a lot better. Now you can pick up each of these ratcheting sets right here. Harbor Freight, I think they're like $25, $30 a piece. So $50. Yeah, it does skip a lot of sizes, but some of them interchange, which I'm not real crazy about the interchanging stuff. They never really do fit exactly the way they should. Well, I guess for starting out, it'll be okay. Now, Gear Rich makes a really sweet set that are flat like this. I think you can get like a 20-piece set for right around $80. I'll list it, or I'll try to put a picture somewhere in here of that. I really wish I would have got that, but I already got these, so I'll make do with that. And if you want to go a little deeper in your pocket, you can get the angled wrenches. They're reversible. That angle really comes in nice. You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it'd make that much difference, but it does. Now, these are the gear wrench. I think this was the 14-piece set. So now we're going to get on to some other things that I think would make your life easier in the garage. Okay, so if you do decide to go ahead and go with this stuff, I'm going to try to breeze through it real fast, because this video is starting to run a little long. And speaking of breezing through, you're going to breeze right on past that $500 mark if you start buying stuff like this. So for the first half of the video, I'm back. That's where I tried to keep it under 500. But you might want to look into getting you the drill and impact driver combo, because you can take lug nuts and stuff off with these. They're not real powerful, but you can pick this set up for like $100. This old Craftsman set. I think DeWalt's a little better, and it's about 120. Or you can go ahead and jump up and spend a couple hundred and get you an actual little battery-powered impact. That one's, it's not the best, but it's not bad. And that's going to take you on into buying impact sockets. Now, they can get a little pricey. Pittsburgh Pro, they're nice. That's about your cheapest option. These Cobalt ones, they're nice too, but I'd probably just go with the Pittsburgh Pro. They're nice. Now, one good thing about if you do get the half-inch impacts, you can forget about earlier in the video when I said buy those chrome half-inch sockets, because you're good, because there's no law that says you can't just put impact sockets on a ratchet. So there you can kill two birds with one stone. You got your impact sockets, and you got a set of half-inch sockets. So that takes care of that. And if you can swing it, some of these adjustable flex head ratchets, they're really going to help you out. A nice long ratchet that can kind of double as a breaker bar and a ratchet. And you might want to pick you up some flare nut wrenches. Say you're trying to take power steering hoses loose or any kind of fittings or anything like that. You can really get stuff a lot tighter with them. You might want to grab a test light. That's not much. It's only about 20 bucks. Comes in handy for, different things. And a voltmeter. You can check your battery. You can check your alternator. You can really do a lot of things with this. And I got this from Walmart. It's an Everstart. I really like the color of it. It's like that gear wrench yellow type color. That's really cool when it's really cheap too. You can really do a lot of things with it. And this last one, this would just be if you want to. Get some kind of code reader. Now, you don't have to get this one. This one was about $170. You can get the basic one or any of them off Amazon. It just reads and deletes codes. Say you're trying to change, you got a miss. You're trying to figure out where your miss is or something like that. You can just get on there and it'll tell you what cylinder is missing. You can also check your battery and alternator with the cheap one too. So you can pick the cheap one up for about 50 bucks, and they are all over Amazon for about 50 bucks. That's if you got a little more money to spend and you just want to get a little more into it. That second half of the video, that's all it's there. But I really appreciate you watching. I hope this helped somebody out. If it did, please consider liking and subscribing. Or if you just found the video entertaining, that's cool. Maybe you could like and subscribe then too. Well, like I said, I appreciate you all watching. And this is Hoob with Hoob's Garage. We'll be sure to catch you all in the next one. We'll see you. Going on here, it's not so much a tool review, but if you're not having